Can you guys online hear us?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. We'll call the meeting to order. It's Tuesday, August 8th of 2023. This is the Stoughton City Council meeting, and we'll start out with the roll call, and Tammy's going to do the roll call for us tonight.
Hirsch,
Here.
Jensen,
Here.
Caravello, Reeves, Majewski, Payton,
Here.
Kiley,
Here.
Schumacher,
Here.
Sherlucky, Legaki,
Here.
Butler,
Here.
Wozniak, Scanlon.
Here.
We have 11 alders present. We have one Sherlucky, absent and excused.
All right. Thank you very much. We are certified in compliance with open meeting laws. So the next item of business would be the public comment period. And nobody was signed up for the public comment period tonight. So we'll go right into communications and presentations. Are there any communications from alders?
Yes, Mayor.
Welcome, Alder Legaki. Nice to see you.
Yeah, that's just a sort of quick, but yet related to some things going on. I just wanted to express gratitude for the support and well wishes. I've been away with a surgery and have a couple coming up, and I just really appreciate the positive support that I've received. And with that, I've had a lot of time to think and relax and read and reflect. And there was a recent post on social media that got me thinking about when Jill and I first moved here to Stoughton. And I was remembering what it was like to feel like a new resident here, and then even being asked to serve on council and knowing that Stoughton has this great background in this great city, but how is it in accepting diversity? And so we had wondered a lot, and I just want to say that I am quite moved by the support, by the clarity that our community can express about all being welcome here. And so I just wanted to encourage anyone who has been moved by a lot of the events that keep coming our way around this. Join our DEI task force, pay attention to the good effort that we're trying to do. And I just wanted to express gratitude and say that I am so happy to consider that Stoughton's my hometown, and I feel fully welcome and embraced here, and I hope that we do so for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean.
Did you have something, Alder Jensen?
No, I just said thank you to Jean. I appreciate her voicing that.
All right, Alderperson, or Council President Hirsch.
This is for the city council, and I think Dave would probably touch on it, that we have our CIP first meeting this Thursday at 6 p.m. And I just wanted to make sure that all chairs, vice chairs, and any other council members that would like to attend the CIP meetings, please do so, but definitely chairs, be here 6 p.m. Thursday or be square.
All right, thank you. Any other communications from alders? All right, and Finance Director Ehlinger has some communications.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This should be really brief on these three things. The first one's for the allowable levy limit. A lot of numbers on the page. The only number that's really important to you folks is the one at the very bottom, 156,514. That's the amount of net new construction increase that we can have. Our second best net new construction year, and 160,000. So it's not much, but every little bit helps. The next item that I've got in there is the net new construction. We came in at 1.99%. I'm hopeful that with the adjustment that's being done, some property was being put into TID 6 in error. that it'll go to the rest of the city, so we may hit 2%. So we'll see where we're at, but we're hanging in there. We're averaging 1.91% for the last 3 years. We're below the Dane County average, but we're having growth, so that's always a good thing. And then the last document that I have is the equalized value recap. We went up by 13.66% in property values. You know, another strong year for us. Over the last 3 years, 12.5%, so we're doing good. In this category, we're better than the Dane County average and the state of Wisconsin average. So all in all, those are good things. Devil's in the detail, but the mill rate's got to go down. When the equalized value goes up by 13.66 and net new construction only by 2%, the math says the mill rate will drop. So even if we have our debt levy going up, the operational levy mill rate will drop substantially. That's all I really want to say about those issues right now. Anybody have any questions at all on the topics?
I do. Dave, so what does that mean in the end? So we gain 156, but if the mill rate drops, what are we losing?
Well, two different things. The 156,000 is what the dollar amount can go up in the tax levy. The mill rate is saying the property tax, how is that spread around everybody? And part of it is property values went up. Part of it is we had new people coming in. For instance, if you've got a city of 10 houses, everybody gets 10% of the tax if every building is the same. But you add another house, now you're only paying 1/11 of it. So just by having more properties, everybody's tax rate individually, which is the mill rate, goes down. So two separate discussions. You can tell, yeah, taxes went down, the mill rate went down. And other people will say the tax dollars went up, taxes went up. It's all how you look at it.
So in the end, yeah, we're not going, I mean, I'm just thinking about operating budgets. We'll possibly gain 156, but for taxes, people might pay less taxes, even though their assessed value might go up, so it might be a wash.
Correct, and you've got different things in there. Yeah, the total tax dollars will go up, and if everybody's assessed value goes up the same, then everybody's taxes go up the same. But, you know, your house might be worth more, but your house next to that yellow monstrosity that everybody hates is now going down in value. So you've got all those differences there too. And that's just the city tax. On your tax bill, you've got the county, you've got the school district, you've got the tech college. Some people have sanitary districts. So there's a lot of interplaying factors. You know, most people look at just what is my tax bill? How much do I have to write a check for? But you got to remember, some of that goes to the state. Or, yeah, to the state, no longer state, to the county, to the city, to the school district, to the tech college. So, you know, it's broken down in different areas. I believe the school district is going out for referendum again. Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, but their last referendum is expiring, so they're going to try and go out again. So if they succeed, their portion of taxes may go up too. So it's very hard to look at something and say, my taxes went up, why? Well, I got 17 different factors to look at.
Yeah, they did have a successful building referendum, and I'm not really sure what the impact's going to be because I haven't really looked at it since the equalized value numbers came out. But certainly, what a majority of that new debt is basically picking up where the old debt left off, and then there's some additional, so we'll see how it shakes out. But much like us, the school district's operation portion of their budget, that part of their mill rate's been going down because of their spending limits that they have. We have spending caps, they have limits. A lot of their limits are based on property value as well as enrollment, and when their enrollment goes down, they get less money from the state.
Any other questions that anybody has on any of those really brief topics?
Any other communications from alders? Last chance. All right, hearing none, we'll go into the consent agenda. The consent agenda has a few items in there. It has 2 sets of minutes from the last 2 council meetings, as well as some committee minutes and reports. So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by, what was it, Jensen? Okay. A second by Alderman Mieski. Would anybody like anything on the minutes acted on separately? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? None opposed. That motion does carry. Next item is R-127, and that one is coming from the Finance Committee, Alderperson Schumacher.
All right, R-127 of 2023 is a pre-annexation agreement. Hold on, let me get to the text of it. Resolution approving the pre-annexation agreement between the City of Stoughton and Greenbrier Farms Limited Partnership. So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Alderperson Reeves. Alderperson Schumacher.
This has the agreement language in there for this annexation. This is the property that is just north of the 51 West development on Rutland Dunn Town Line and US 51.
All right, are there any questions about this one? I'm putting the map up right now for you. There's the map. So it's that chunk of property in between where 51 West is developing by Stoughton Lumber, and then in between where that dirt pile is on the corner of 51 and B.
And for the new people, can you, because there's 2 items on the agenda for this, the ordinance and the resolution, do we try to tease out so the new people can understand why they're back to back and what's the difference between the 2?
Sure, maybe you can just start out with
Yeah.
the annexation, Rodney, and explain what that is.
Yeah, so this is a pre-annexation agreement. The agreement really articulates a few items that the city requests to have in place prior to the annexation ordinance becoming effective. In other words, it's somewhat related to cost reimbursement and expectations related to that chunk of land prior to it moving forward in development. This is very similar to similar annexation agreements we've had for other developments. This just for others that don't know. Attorney Reuter helped us use the framework of existing agreements we had in the city. Our counsel from Stafford Rosenbaum does work with the town of Dunn, so we need to engage a different attorney to work with us on that. But we use the framework that we've used for the other pre-annexation agreements. This particular annexation area we have on the agenda for the ordinance to approve the annexation. In advance of that, we actually had the petitioner sign this pre-annexation agreement so that in the event that it's approved and the ordinance is approved, the agreement can be executed by the city and be in place and effective at that time.
Thanks, Rodney.
Any questions on this one? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? None opposed, that motion carries. The next item is ordinance 25 of 2023. This one went through the Plan Commission. This is here for a second reading, and Rodney's going to pull up the screen. I think there's been some updates.
Yep. So the first reading on this annexation ordinance took place in July. There was a challenge with, not a challenge, there was a name, the petitioner's name wasn't correctly identified on the original petition to annex Greenbrier Farms Limited Partnership, as highlighted in the document on your screen, is the correct petitioner's name. Cheryl Anderson is the managing partner and is included on the petition itself, but we needed to make a correction to the annexation ordinance to reflect that. In addition, today we received the review letter from the Department of Administration, so the second area that's highlighted here, we've converted to express that finding by them has already been made. So they found that it is in the public interest to annex this property to the city of Stoughton. There is two other additional items that were added to the ordinance from that previous introduction as the first reading. This language related to town taxes was added. Attorney Reuter guided us to add this additional language to be consistent with state statutes and explicitly indicate our willingness to pay the town taxes. In this case, the 5-year tax revenue lost by the town of Dunn that we cover, I believe, was $99. It's on the top page of the resolution. And then lastly, was a typo, in essence, in the legal description. There is the letter E in one of the meets and bounds description was missing, and that was identified today as well as part of the DOA review. So the corrected resolution as presented in the page here is the one that was acted on at Finance, and we'd request that you'd approve this annexation ordinance as shown on the screen here with those yellow areas.
All right. Any questions on any of that or anything you want to add, Attorney Reuter?
The only thing I would add is the payment of town taxes is included in the reimbursement agreement from the petitioners, so they will reimburse the city for the payments that have to be made.
Okay. All right. So we're looking to introduce this as a second reading. I know it went through the Plan Commission. Alderperson Carvello, you want to introduce it?
Sure. Sorry. This is ordinance 25 of 2023, an ordinance providing for the direct annexation by unanimous approval of a portion of the town of Dunn to the city of Stoughton, Dane County, Wisconsin, and I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Payton. And anything you want to add, Alderperson Carvello?
I don't think there's anything other to add than what's discussed. They just want to annex this for purposes of future development.
Okay. Questions or comments from alders? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed. That motion carries. Next item is ordinance 23 of 2023. This one came from the Planning Commission. This would be a second reading. Alderperson Carvello.
And this is ordinance 23 of 2023, an ordinance amending the zoning classification at CSM Lot 1, which is part of lots 9 and 10 Chalet subdivision in the city of Stoughton, Wisconsin, and I so move.
And is there a second?
Second.
Second by President Hirsch. Alderperson Carvello.
And this is here, as we discussed last meeting, just wants to rezone this from rural holding to TR6 because the applicant wants to build a duplex on this lot.
All right. Anything you want to cover, Director Shield?
I think we captured the discussion well at the last meeting. The new alders at least were introduced to it as well at that meeting, but certainly available to answer questions. We do anticipate at some point them proceeding with a discontinuance of the Chalet Court that's shown on the screen and possibly replatting or creating additional CSMs to create 2 additional building sites along Chalet Drive in the future.
All right. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? None opposed. That motion carries. Next item is ordinance 24 of 2023. And that one is a second reading from Public Works. Alderperson Majewski. Second by Alderperson Reeves. Alderperson Majewski, hit the mic. Can you push the mic? Thanks.
This is a ordinance to prohibit fishing in ponds where we have mechanical aeration so that there is no damage to the aeration equipment by fishing tackle and line.
All right. Director Aber, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'll just add that we had a couple different instances where we did have fishing line that were wrapped in the impeller of our aeration equipment. And it did take one out this last time. Each time that this happens, those pumps, that motor is roughly $1,300 to $1,400, somewhere in there. And so we've gone through 2 sets now. The 2 ponds that we're aiming this at, that we have aeration devices in, is the Eastwood Pond and the Rotary Pond. And these are relatively small ponds. So we're just trying to protect our infrastructure.
All right. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 And any opposed? None opposed. That motion carries. New business, R125 of 2023. This one comes from the Finance Committee, Alderperson Schumacher.
All right, R125 of 2023 is a resolution to affirm the City of Stoughton payment of Minnesota basic life insurance premiums for all covered employees. So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Alderperson Majewski. Alderperson Schumacher.
We reviewed this one earlier tonight. It's been a practice of the city to cover these life insurance premiums for many years. But there wasn't a specific form. This ET 1301 wasn't on file with them, so we need to have the HR director send this form into them so that cleans this up, and then we don't have to revisit that in the future.
Excellent summary. Anything you want to add, Director Aylinger?
No, I don't think so. I think Brett handled it very well.
All right. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 And any opposed? That motion carries. Item 11 is R126 of 2023, and this one also came from the Finance Committee, Alderperson Schumacher.
All right, as long as I can get my words in before the wiener dogs go crazy again. This is R126 2023, a resolution for the closure of Fidelity Investments accounts owned by Firefighters Pension Board. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Reeves. Alderperson Schumacher.
We looked at this one earlier tonight also. There's a chunk of money sitting out there in a fund that can't be accessed, as this was a very long established fund, and John Neal was the last name on it, former finance director. But since his retirement in 2009, no one's been able to locate the paperwork, the original paperwork for it that Fidelity wanted to see. So this one is giving a temporary allowance to John Neal to act on behalf of the city for Fidelity Investments to get this account closed out.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? Alderperson Payton.
Just a quick question for clarification. This is to remediate an issue related to the account holder. So what's our strategy in the future in case the manager of the account is, like Dave, if you retire, like what are we planning to do there?
Well, I've already been told by HR I'm not allowed to retire, so that's not an issue. But for instance, when we created the irrevocable pension trust for the firefighters, we directed that it would be the position, not the name. And in the organizational meeting, where we say these are the 6 or whatever financial institutions that we use, we again said the position, not the name. So that documentation should work. We just have to have HR or somebody say, well, Dave got hit by a bus, he's no longer with us, and Sally took over.
Okay. I mean, that's fair enough. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, good.
Good question. Any other questions or comments?
Just a general one. The city attorney and myself, Rick, had been talking about this, trying to figure out the best way to do it. We thought this was the cleanest way to do it. I drafted the resolution. He tweaked the wording on it a little bit, but we wanted to make sure that we were dotting the i's and crossing the t when we're asking a former employee to do something on city behalf.
Yeah, and when, it was nice enough that he was willing to do that.
Yep, he said he's willing to help in any way he can.
Excellent.
Thought he was still-
Yeah, he still lives there.
That's good.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 And any opposed? That motion carries. Motion to adjourn by Majewski. Is there a second? Second by Caravello. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
See you Thursday.